My mom, who is 48, is upset with me, a 22-year-old new mom, because I don't want her babysitting my son anymore. I have a 6-month-old baby, and I'm very careful about who I allow around him, especially those I don't trust. To give you some context, 2 years ago, an aunt of mine spread false information about me, which led to me being kicked out of a family house I was renting. I was left without a place to stay because of her lies. When the truth finally came out, she acted innocent and never apologized. This experience pushed me to go no contact with her and others who enabled that situation. Fast forward to now. My aunt was visiting, and my mom, who lives 2 hours away, came to stay at her second home nearby. I made it clear to my mom that I didn't want my son around this aunt. When she asked to babysit him instead of my dad, who usually takes care of him, I hesitated but ultimately agreed, trusting my mom to respect my boundary. After picking up my son, I asked if my aunt had been around him. My mom assured me she hadn't, claiming the aunt was only briefly downstairs and that my baby hadn't seen her. Days later, while on the phone with my mom, I discovered this wasn't true. She let it slip that she had taken my son to where my aunt was. When I confronted her, I expressed that what hurt me most was not just the situation, but that she hadn't been honest when I directly asked her. Instead of acknowledging my feelings, my mom became defensive. She argued that she didn't lie because my aunt hadn't physically held the baby. Then she accused me of having a bad attitude, claiming my reaction was influenced by others. She even brought up unrelated things from years ago, like parties she paid for when I was a teenager, saying she was still waiting for gratitude and implying I was ungrateful. I've always expressed my gratitude for everything she and my dad have done for me, so I was confused by her comments.
She also said things like, "I hope your child never does to you what you are doing to me," and talked about how many tears she had shed over me.
None of this addressed the real issue, my boundary being crossed and information being withheld. I tried to explain that while I appreciated her past support, it didn't give her the right to disregard my boundaries with my child. I decided not to respond to her multiple texts, listing everything she had done for me since I was born. I didn't want to go down that path, fearing it would only make things worse. When I was 2 weeks postpartum, she had offered to help me with the baby so I could rest. Desperate for some sleep, I agreed. But when I arrived, 7 family members showed up because she had called them to meet my son. I didn't get any rest. Instead, I was overwhelmed with questions while they held my baby. When I handed him to my mom to use the bathroom, I returned to find my uncle kissing my baby's cheek. I left immediately and drove 2 hours back home. Then, when my baby was 3 months old, she put Doritos in his mouth behind my back because he was watching her too much. We had yet another conversation about boundaries after that. A couple of weeks later, she took my baby to see my high school ex, who had no business being near my son since we'd been no contact since our breakup. This was just my last straw. I felt I had been more than forgiving, giving her too many chances, and she had broken my trust every time. I spoke to my cousin who knew about the boundaries I had set, and she was shocked and upset that my mom had lied. At this point, I've decided I won't leave my baby in my mom's care anymore because I don't trust her to respect my boundaries. Am I wrong for being upset and pulling back? Or am I overreacting since nothing bad happened, and my aunt supposedly didn't physically touch my baby?